All right, so here I will talk about the male roles, and mostly in cinema or in art, wherever it is. This is the serious discussion, comparatively more serious discussion. I will try to use the whiteboard and I will talk about few things, right? Now, this session I am doing specifically for male actors, but if you go through my blog, I'm mentioning everything. Blog, or you can go to Hokalaran community. So go to the communities. If you haven't gone to the communities, I keep sharing a lot of stuff. If I am doing it in my blog, I'm writing a lot of stuff. If I share a lot of material that I do in the community section, or you can find it in You Can Achieve or in Hokalaran, mostly in Hokalaran, and in few other places also. You can find it in my website. But the thing is, I can talk about a lot of things regarding acting, which we will do in Artists Heaven. But the thing I am talking about is the sense you develop when you know that you are fit for that role or that award. It's not specifically that award, but you can write roles in that way that is holding that standards, or you can go beyond it. What do I mean by that? For example, I have seen a lot of movies in my life, global movies, like world movies, world cinema. So I know when I am taking a decision that is coming out of a lot of depth and something very huge. So if you ask me, if I be completely honest with you, Volby Cup in Venice is my thing as an actor. If you talk in terms of director or writing, then this is Venice is very close to me. Berlin, Cannes is also very close to me. Berlinale is also. But I know how to write for those festivals, and films that can go like to different festivals and can win different awards. So you can reach that standard. Satyajit Ray had reached it. We have that in our culture in Bengal, culture prestige, whatever you call it. We have it. If I talk about Hollywood, I can write Hollywood blockbusters, which can bring a lot of money, which will give you a lot of Hollywood kind of entertainment. But you can mix and match things. You can earn a lot of revenue and multiples, and you can still provide great opportunities for actors where they can perform. So that's why, I mean, I will continue to talk about things, but here, few things I want to mention. It's about the mindset. When you really understand it, when you really love it, then you will get all these things. Now, if I tell you that this acting is good, that means you understand this is somewhere in that it fits the standard, the best standards. Now you can think of Volby Cup in Venice, you can go for Cannes, you can go for Berlinale, the best standards, Hollywood, Golden Globe, BAFTA, you can understand. But I will still say, when you are talking about art, Cannes is a very prestigious place, difficult to get into. But if you can rise to that level or the standard, you can. Unfortunately, why we can't? We cannot talk about that thing because in Bengal we had that. Now things have happened because of that. The mindset has been distorted for a while. But you can still do it because it's in the literature, it's in the nature. When you walk along the streets, you can get that. So that's why you need to understand human beings a bit more, understand photography, how to capture those emotions, those moments, the visual language, visual literacy, your culture literacy. Those are the important things. Across the culture, we can communicate through the language of cinema, non-verbal communication, verbal communication, how to write precise dialogue, how much to write. Sometimes what not to write is a more complex decision to make in movies, because otherwise it will be a very verbose movie. If you look at Nuri Selan in Winter, Once Upon a Time in Anatolia has one flavor. If you look at his other movies, it has different flavors. He's playing with words. But I can talk about many directors. I can talk about many festivals, but what standard you should achieve within yourself, that taste, that aesthetics, that appreciation, sense of appreciation. So when you look at an acting, you know that is something, right? That threshold you can reach, then you can go beyond the threshold. And the more educated you are in many aspects, a best way to gather that through practice. As long as I mean, along with education, that can come from practice. I mean, you can do a lot of practice. You are feeling those things inside you. You are developing yourself as a personality, as a human being, as an actor. Then you are just giving it back to the role, right? You are discussing with the crew. You are discussing with the director. You are discussing with different professionals. Sometimes, I mean, these are the things, as an actor or as a director, you can have a great conversation. As an actor, you can go to the cinematographer, not only to talk about this thing, that light me in a way so that I look great. That can be one of the conversations, but there can be so many other conversations. You're looking at light, you can come up with your own suggestions. I walked with this man before, or I walked with these people before, um, we were doing this stuff. I mean, ask for permission, definitely. If it is very secret, you don't reveal it. So these are the professionalism you need to understand also. Integrity, professionalism, when you are respecting things, what to talk about, what not to talk about, artistic integrity, respecting that artistic integrity. These are the basic things, right? But if you ask me, few years back, I never talked this much. I mean, in my personal discussions, my private discussions with chosen people, because I really choose people who I hang around with. I respect my time a lot. I respect my taste a lot. I mean, it doesn't matter whether, I mean, they can belong to any background. They don't have to be rich, in quotes. They can come from any background, but if they are good people or good human beings, we can just talk to these people. But certain kind of people I tend to avoid, especially when we are doing serious stuff, because filmmaking is a very serious thing. Now, especially when we are talking about Cannes, Berlinale, then your Venice, you need to respect cinema. You need to respect yourself. You need to respect that art, that craft. You need to respect human beings, humanity, those situations. That microcosm and the macrocosm. You need to respect all these things, and that comes with the basic practices, the best practices, if I say so. Why I am talking about these things? Because I can talk about the awards, the name of the awards. But whenever you reach that standard, or whenever you are learn to appreciate that standard, at least, or you know how to talk to these people who are actually doing it, or you can take them in a different kind of opportunity that can be a breakout role for them. I mean, you never know, right? That's why we need to have these great discussions. That person might have worked with someone else. Now I look at this role and then I can cast this person because I saw something maybe they couldn't have seen. But we might share, we might exchange information, we might talk in terms of in terms of like professional acting experiences. What did you find in this person? Did you think of this? We can do all these things, but professionalism is very important. This should not be a gossip. In India, that professionalism is missing. No matter how much they sell, that professionalism is missing. And very few people have reached that standard. Now, the more I talk, the more arguments will come, and just send them to me. I know how to deal with them, right? But if you like allow them to talk about things behind my back, it's not about me. I mean, I don't give a damn, but you will waste your time. And I might not be explaining it to you. So sooner or later, you will find out the real thing. But during that time, you would have wasted your emotions, your time, and energy. That's why choose yourself, but don't compromise with that standard. Now, for people who are listening to this or who will listen to this, you reach that standard. How do you do that? There are narratives people are telling. You need to go to a film school, you need to go to this and that. I say, start with the love and passion for cinema. If you really love cinema, if you really have that passion, and the momentum matters. That's very important. As I always talk about, the momentum matters. Maybe this moment is perfectly right for that kind of story. If you lose that momentum, you don't feel like making it in that way. Maybe you shelve that script. Few years after, you come back to that script. Maybe the technology is ready, maybe the ambience is ready, maybe the crew is in a better shape, so you make that movie. So these decisions you can take, how much to change in that script? What are the improvisations to be made in that script, depending on the situation? But maybe, maybe you have evolved as a human being. You wrote the script maybe 10 years back. Now when you're looking at it now, things have changed around you. You might do some improvisations. What are the right kind of improvisations? You can be the best judge. I mean, you can talk to people, your actors, fellow professionals, but you should be the best judge. When you do that, you can be a connoisseur. You can be uh, having that taste, you know. So when I am telling you that you are a great actor, or anyone, when I am appreciating, or anyone like me, uh, who know what he or she is doing, you understand there is something. Maybe you haven't got that recognition yet, but there is something. And that should be respected inside you, because with that, you can develop a lot of talents. You can recognize potential, you can develop talents. For me, it's easier because I know how to design the training. So I have done this. So many people will tell you that you have the potential, you go through this or that, maybe this will be a great thing. So they will go through that, eventually they will come to the best performance or the desired performance. For me, I can create training and design for different kinds of people. So that's a gift I have, and I have studied a lot of things so that I can do that. But the best thing, when you get that feeling with love and passion, when you do that, you can guide a lot of people. Then you will find that social sciences are coming into place. You will find that art is coming into place. Everything is coming together. But when you feel it and you are not betraying yourself, then that is the best thing you can do. Look at movies. That can be the best thing. Life can be the best film school you can ever attend, without any shackles, without anything. So you can free yourself, be alone with your cinema. When you are watching movie, it's not a bad thing. There is a narrative. Again, there is a narrative. Why I am discussing all these things, you need to know that. Disrespect for theater, disrespect for acting, disrespect for spending some quality time with yourself, which is so important for an artist. I mean, if you go to a theater alone to watch a movie, many people will criticize you, right? Then you will do the you will take the conformity approach, and you will just um, try to be like one of them. Why should you try to fit in? Why should you try to change when you have found yourself, or you are seeking to find yourself? Why should you change? You should find your unique voice. You should find your unique personality, unique way of giving it back to the society. Maybe it can be through roles, writing roles, through directing, music, songs, poetry. There are so many things you can do in life, right? Now, when people don't do that, they want to impose a particular kind of masculinity and all these things. They come up with a lot of excuses. This is happening for a while, but sooner, very soon, it will go away. It might take some time, but it will go away, because people are starting to realize that, and they will realize that, because when you compromise with that quality, you are compromising with yourself, maybe the truest part of yourself, the most sacred love you can give to someone, or the most beautiful love you can give to someone. You are compromising with that. Why? Maybe because of people, situations. Why you should cherish those moments? Because those are the things that shape you. Those conflicts shape you. That happiness shape you. Those moments of solitude shape you, right? Now, when you know how to express that through art, it can be painting, it can be sculpture, it can be mixed media, it can be visual arts, it can be anything. When you know how to channelize that, when you know how to express that, right? It can be through the roles, it can be through the scenes, through the bits, through the dialogues, through the, the backstory, it can be. So you are conveying a lot of things. But when you are really involved, when you are really engaged, you can do a lot of things. And then you can switch hats also, because that's why I wanted to talk about the male roles. This is also one thing I want to emphasize on. When you really love it, you can do a lot of things. When I was doing stuff, I did it out of love. And I knew that I won't compromise with quality. I won't compromise with the best standards. I know I can do that. I have seen it. I have practiced it. When I'm writing, I can bring it. I have few other scripts I can show it. Like a long time back I had achieved it because of just out of love. So many people will give you a lot of narratives, they will give you a lot of bullshit nonsense, but don't just listen to them. Find your own voice. Maybe that rejection can tell you a lot. Maybe your rejection to someone that can teach you a lot. I have rejected a lot of people in my life, and people have criticized me for that, but I have rejected a lot of people in my life. But you know, the advantage, I achieved a lot of things very early in my life, the standards. Since I rejected a lot of things in my life and I embraced a lot of things, maybe the greatest things or maybe the best things, I achieved a lot of things very quickly in terms of that standard. Now I can talk about stuff. Many people have said it, like when they look at me, like in 25 years, you are talking about stuff like a 200 year, 300 years old person, right? That wisdom or that sense, and many people are understanding the thing you are talking about. It is, I mean, very difficult for a young guy to achieve, you know. You can do that when you are actually concentrating, you are actually loving it, you are giving a lot, because it's like an offering. You are giving, you are offering yourself to the movies. I mean, I always say that I never chose movies, the movies chose me, the cinema chose me. I never chose cinema, cinema chose me. And I was just drawn into it. I just went in and went in and went in, and I never thought of leaving it. It was so magical, and it is still magical. In the last few years, only few years, I lived without that thing, and I saw a lot of crappy stuff. They sell a lot of stuff, but they don't understand it. And I figured out, so that the next generation should not suffer, I figured out why the thing is wrong. I mean, you cannot just call this is the right thing, this is the wrong thing, because I had achieved it. So I know when the deviation is there. No matter how much they sell, this is the modern stuff, this is this thing. I mean, that's bullshit. I know when the deviation is there, why the deviation is there, and how you can change it. So you cannot mess with me, right? I mean, I won't take that decision. I won't buy that, right? So that's why I know when to let go. I know when to free myself. I know when to choose a particular kind of acting style, because I have practiced a lot of different acting styles. I can see different acting styles in people. Not having a style is itself is a big style that I can recognize also, because I know how to appreciate things, great things, or people who are putting a lot of effort. They are bringing a lot of things into the room, even in audition also. That thing you can recognize, and that is a great thing. So what, why don't we achieve? First of all, it's about the mindset. First, you have to understand it's about the mindset. You will do one thing, there will be 10, 100,000, lakhs of people who will be criticizing you, right? You look at the movie, you understand how the scenes evolved, how the characters were talking, how you can write about the interaction, a great story where you are, maybe you are talking about one single thing or multiple thing, but you are so many layers, you know, multiple layers. It can be a multisensory experience. Even if it is a two-dimensional medium, it can have a multisensory experience. How you can do it with the words, how we can do that with the scenes, with the writings, how you can put it in the script, using words, not using words, non-verbal communication, verbal communication, semiotics, sign language. There are so many other things you can learn, right? But learning, and when you are just internalizing all these things, then you can find out a situation you can write about, and you can give a lot. And you're not manipulating. When you're not manipulating, you are truly loving the process. You can just give a lot. You can give a lot of things to the script. Then when you're directing, when you're talking to the actors, they can bring a lot of things when you are giving that opportunity. Sometimes the director is very autocratic, you know, control freak sometimes, and they are directing a lot of things, and that is also important. Sometimes you trust a director when he or she really knows his or her stuff. You can just trust the director. That is also a great thing. When you know that you have an umbrella, a big umbrella, a director whom you can trust, you can learn so much. When you're starting out, especially when you're starting out, you can trust a director like that, and you find great relationships afterwards. So those relationships, if you have understood it through movies, if you have gone through that path, if you have loved in life, maybe with I mean, you have been with different people, you have talked to a lot of people, you have found those moments in your life, in yourself. When you looked at movie, you introspected for a while. I mean, that's a beautiful scene. I mean, there are movies, when you watch those movies, after a while you cannot speak. It's utter complete silence. Those moments we can find. That's why human experience, different regions, they might have their different signature style, different energies, different characters, different way of telling stories, but we can learn from each and everything. But when we are making a lot of issues out, using a lot of stuff, I mean petty stuff, then it's like investment mindset. Where why we are talking about this particular topic in this you can achieve, where we are mostly talking regarding business. We are not only talking about business, we are also talking about the investment mindset. When we are putting your energy into something crappy, and then maybe it's an argument, we are not getting anything out of that. I mean, if you don't write a script regarding that, it's total waste, right? Or you can invest your energy, your time, your skill sets, your wisdom in writing great characters, writing great stories. Just give me one sec and I will join. Just give me one sec. Yeah. So as I was mentioning, now, yeah, I mean that's the thing, So when I'm talking about stuff, maybe one day I will do a session on funding and investors. So when I'm talking about stuff, funding on investors, angel investors, venture capitalists, or whatever it is, I mean distributors, you will understand I may not be talking about the specific things, cinema of that region, cinema of this and that. You have a cinema, and each cinema can be a potential business model, mobile business model. It is, in fact. So that entrepreneurship can help. Now you can do an independent cinema, you can do a cinema of the studios, you can understand the characteristics of both. You can make an independent movie, then you can switch to the studio film. History is filled with examples. And if it is not, you can start. You can do the thing. If you understand the characteristics, if you understand the essence, you can do all these things. Maybe you are taking a small camera, you are shooting a short movie, you are giving it to the festivals. It is getting a lot of audience, you're generating a lot of buzz, people are knowing about it. People are talking about it, they are knowing stuff, they are knowing your style, they are knowing your the things you want to do, your great aspirations, your great talent, they are knowing that. And then maybe you have a script in mind, you are going to the festivals, you're meeting people, you're pitching things, and maybe you're getting an independent movie made, but you still have that Hollywood influence, or you want to make a great blockbuster. It can be a way of giving it back also. You were inspired by a lot of Hollywood movies. Then when it comes to your turn, you want to give something back. Your own way of telling the story, right? Your own way of making the movie. And it's a great movie. And that is, a great Hollywood entertainment blockbuster. There also, when you are having the trust with yourself, you're always maintaining the trust with people, that professionalism. So you can start small. The thing I am emphasizing on again and again, Ridley Scott started very small, and then he made Gladiator also. So I'm just giving you examples here and there, uh, and that is so important because that was the culture once. That fight for making a movie, that momentum you don't lose. You stick to that casting. I have selected this person, and that decision came out of something. I mean, you might know it and you might speak to it, or it might talk to you. That casting might talk to you that this is the person I have chosen and I know what I am doing. Taking that firm decision because you really love it, you really want to make that movie, you really want to tell the story. As a director, you can take the firm decision, you can fight with the producers. Ultimately, when you trust yourself, you will come up with the multiples, you will come up with the revenue, and you will come up with a movie that will stand the test of time. It will be there for maybe another 20-25 years or more. It will be a great classic. I mean, that is how we made movies. But I sometimes think initially there used to be a lot of curiosity. I think we are losing that curiosity sometimes. I mean, we have a lot of technologies, but we are not making any much innovation. I mean, in terms of storytelling. I mean, we have AR, VR, MR, and so many other things, artificial intelligence, machine learning, and all that stuff. But I mean, where it is in terms of storytelling, the human aspect we have to respect. Then the technology is giving us the opportunity so that we can create a world. I mean, if you are making a Hollywood blockbuster, you can have a lot of technologies, I mean, that can help you do a lot of stuff. But again, if you understand the characteristics, if you understand the medium specificity, if you understand the essence of things, you can do a lot. And love cinema, that is the most important thing I will tell you. Love cinema, love acting, respect it. Now the problem is, if I tell you I love you, that might be something great. And that has happened. I have seen it in my life. Whenever that's why I was choosy to. And you should be. If you are really have it inside you, you should be choosing. Because it's a great thing you are providing. You just should not give it away like that. When I am saying I love you, that might be something great. When somebody else is saying I love you, that might not be the same love. But when I am looking at it, maybe I am thinking of it in terms of that greatness. So there was a lot, there can be a lot of conflict, and there is a lot of conflict. But generally, what happens is when you are writing a great script out of a lot of love, when you are directing a lot of great actors out of a lot of love, many people will connect to it. So that's why the festivals have a certain kind of audience, and they really know their stuff. They have seen a lot of movie, they have that taste, they have that aesthetics, and they know their thing, and they can appreciate stuff really well. So when you are getting appreciation from them, you should be grateful, because that means you understand cinema, you can talk in terms of cinema in a great way, you can contribute to cinema a lot. You can write a book which can be a non-fiction book where you are talking about the things which they can learn, and they can they can read and they can learn from. You can write a movie, you can make a movie. It's like, think about it, it's a very respectable profession. In any profession you show professionalism. Here you can show a lot of love, you can involve yourself in a bigger way. Engage or involvement, if I say so. These are marketing tools nowadays, but if you really love it, I think you are just involved in that process. I mean, when I am writing a script, or even I am thinking about writing a script, if I am writing a 10 page 20 page treatment also, then I am just continuously thinking about the characters, how the story is getting unfold. Then I can do the improvisation. So generally what I do is, within first or second draft, my film is complete. First draft, it is complete, then I just keep it for a while. Again, I come back to that, I do the improvisation so that I don't get biased, I don't get subjective. I mean, the story should win. That is the thing for me, at least for that particular kind of movies. And sometimes I can write stuff for entertainment, but I mean, whenever I write, it's a very sacred thing for me. I mean, it's a piece of work. I just don't do stuff like that. So economy of writing. Sometimes I write the dialogues in such a way that will tell you how to shoot the scene. If somebody else is making the movie, if he or she is knowledgeable enough, the script can guide them how to shoot the scene. So that's the power of words. That's how you put it, how you organize those things. But it's for me, for many people, it can be a different kind of process. I mean, you can write, right, because writing is rewriting. That is a saying. I mean, these sayings are important, but you have to find your particular style. That's what I'm talking about. Writing is rewriting. Definitely, it's a very important practice you should keep in mind, especially when you're starting out, because you might not be knowing stuff. If you are lucky, which I have been, and I am, within first or second draft, you achieve something, and then you know that any kind of improvisation afterwards can, I mean, damage the script. Then you can keep it for a while, then you can do a third draft, and then you can have the movie, or you can start shooting the movie, you can do the improvisation depending on the interaction. So these are the things you can do, right? But when we are talking about different like a studio movie or an independent movie, ultimately what you are talking about, you have the content, you have the pre-production where you are actually writing the script, doing the storyboards and all that stuff. So before you go to the production, you have the pre-production. Now I have seen few people in my life. I never thought about it in my life when I did it out of love, but I talked to few people. uh, they write script only because of a contract. Now, for me, I can write it out of a contract, or I can write it just for the sake of loving it. I love writing. I love telling a story. I love making a movie. I love, creating a lot of opportunities for a lot of people, crew members, cast, um, and I mean, getting a great team together, having a great experience together. Uh, I can write a lot of script out of that. Now, maybe for some people, they are just writing script because it's a contract they have signed. So there are different attitudes, there are different mindset, but nothing is bad. I'm telling you, nothing is bad. I mean, you can find your own way. That's the most important thing I will emphasize on. Male roles, gender roles, female roles, gender identity. There is a lot of stuff going on nowadays, but I think the role will guide you. The role, the character will guide you. When you're writing the character, you might have thought that could have been a male role, but you are taking a decision that can be a female role, and that can change the entire movie. And I have seen movies like that. And that decision, that is a very important decision, a very important decision you can make, that is coming out of that great wisdom you have, or that great feeling, that love you have, and something more than that, which I won't discuss. For many people it's a different thing, but that love for cinema will guide you when you choose that, when you take that call. So those are the things that can really help the acting performance, that can really help the entire movie. And I was thinking about this Hollywood stuff. I have written a lot of stuff which I will keep sharing. But understand cinema, appreciate cinema. I mean, during casting, I have seen a lot of people, not few people, because I haven't talked to this bunch much. Some people, they come and they say they are actors. I see them, I test them, I feel that they are not actors, but they will continue to sell that they are actors. Even worse, if somebody is giving them support, if the mass is telling them they are great actors, and mass don't know. I mean, the people, they have seen all these movies, they don't know the real stuff. People who are coming out of other cultures, they don't know the culture, so they are selling stuff, they are being ignorant, and they are buying a lot of stuff, and people are telling them that this is the culture, and they don't know the other things, the other stuff. And modern is a very good word, this is the modern thing. So at that time it used to be like that, now it is like that, so that's a good excuse people make. But you don't know how the thing, so you can respect your culture, you can respect other cultures. So cultural literacy is very important, I think. When you appreciate films, you also appreciate cultures, you appreciate human beings from different cultures. Now that's a great mindset, because when you are not respecting cultures, when you are not respecting human beings, that's a basic thing. uh, you should not come to the prestigious festivals, because that's about respecting cultures, respecting humanity, respecting cinema, and something more than that. I'm just touching few things, but you can understand what I am talking about. So maybe you can give a lot of smile, people will click a lot of pictures, but ultimately, Cinema, when you're writing the script, it is not there. When you're acting, it is not there. When you're appreciating, you're just like, you have asked someone else, that person is saying that's a great movie, you're just saying it's a great movie. And if majority is saying that, then you are thinking that your decision is right. And based on that, if you try to teach someone else, that person will learn something wrong. And that is happening in Bengal right now. So, and it was never the case, but the audacity of corruption, it has gone so bad. People are doing all those stuff. But those are the basic things. I can keep I can keep talking about a lot of things like that. But the ultimate thing, you understand the characteristics, you understand the requirement. I mean, if you are making a movie which is having a lot of budget, then you have to do it accordingly. 2.85 billion, 3 billion, if you want to achieve, then you have to have that mindset, right? And you should be the best judge to understand that. And you pitch accordingly, you communicate your value, you do your value proposition accordingly, and you really know your stuff. It's not like fooling people and just making them boost their returns, and eventually they will see that something was wrong, or uh, you do one thing and several other things happen. It's like the externalities, negative externalities. You do one thing and there are negative externalities that is hampering your culture, that is hampering the environment. But you can take the excuse of revenue. But the thing I am talking about, or here we are talking about, or we are discussing, that is, I mean, when you are making a Hollywood movie, that budget you have, you're doing proper scheduling, budgeting, executive producers, script supervisors. You have the opportunity to hire a lot of people also. So things get easier. That is also, you have to understand the entire cinematic process. Otherwise এই হাওয়া অ্যাডভাইস হয়ে যাবে। নাহলে কি হচ্ছে, independent cinema, it's a great way to learn cinema also. When you're making a movie, the entire process of making a movie, you can achieve a lot with a small crew, with few members, chamber movies, ensemble cast, but few people, you can achieve a lot. I mean, what do you need? I mean, you can be the director, you can be the writer. If you want to, if you are really good at it, you can be the actor. You can hire one or two actors. You can write a script. You can find a cinematographer. You can be the cinematographer yourself. You can have a sense of editing. You can find one or two people who can help you in your editing. You have a film ready. You can send it to the festivals. Then where are we falling? The test. How do you appreciate stuff? Do you really understand, or you just want to tell you that you are a director, you are a writer, or you are an actor? That's a different thing. You're a basic thing. You're a basic mistake. You're doing a basic mistake with yourself. You're lying to yourself. That is not the right thing. You're making a movie. You want to tell a story. You're making a short movie. But you know each and every aspect of filmmaking. You're learning in that process. If people are working with you, they are also learning. But you have that thing inside you, that potential. Uh, if you are given an opportunity, maybe few years later, you can achieve that. So how I advise now, these are the things you should understand when you are in the film industry, you are making a film. And it has been always like that. Production আমি লিখছি, স্টোরি বোর্ড করছি, অনেক সময় we don't need a script also, we can just shoot a movie without a script. We don't need dialogue also, we can write a movie just out of based on non-verbal communication. Great experiences, great innovative experiences. But provided we understand that enough, then we can communicate, right? So these are the things we will talk about. We can continue to talk about a lot of stuff, but what I am telling you is, cinema, in terms of content, you can understand the content. The content will come from the script. If you have a script, or you can do a storyboard, or you can just have a grand vision, big vision of that cinema, and you can guide people accordingly. What you're not doing is you really want to tell the story, you're honest about that, you know you can make it happen, you're honest about that, you're truthful about that, you know you can work with the crew and you can make it happen, you know that you have the feeling, You really love it. You have the taste, you have the aesthetics, you have the appreciation, you have cultivated that in yourself. You know that you have it, you respect that thing in you, you trust that thing in you. Then obstacles will come, barriers will come, hiccups will come, but you know what you are going towards. You believe in yourself, you trust your instinct, you trust your imagination, you know that you can make the movie, right? Short films or documentaries also, those things give you a lot of boost, a lot of motivation, because you're looking at editing, you're looking at cinematography, you're looking at the crew, the interaction with the crew, how you can communicate with your actors. That's a great thing you can learn, interaction with human beings. So you know all those stuff, you have seen problems, you know those problems, if they occur later in your life, you know how to handle them in a better way, more efficient allocation of resources also. So those are the things you learn, management, artistry, communication, everything you learn on the process, problem solving, decision making. That's why I am talking about this particular session in terms of an entrepreneurial venture also. When you're, especially when you're making an independent movie, it can be an entrepreneurial venture with an entrepreneurial spirit. You want to make something, you just start with the script, or without the script, whatever you do, pre-production. You start the production, you start shooting, then you do the post production, your editing stuff. Sometimes in documentary, you are actually making the movie. You are actually making the movie while editing. In the table, you are making it. Things are there, rushes are there. You are just putting things together, and the cinematic language is telling something. You're telling a story. You're talking about something. It can be a short thing, but do that. That at one time we didn't have cameras much. Film used to be very costly. People used to shoot less. It used to be a very costly affair. Fuji, Kodak, they used to do great stuff, and then many other emulsions, and the chemical processes, so many things. We will do one session on ASC and all those emulsions and what other things, gels, gelatins. We will talk about all those things also. Moviola, how you used to edit in Moviola, then Flatbed and different other editors. Walter March, if you look at Walter March, if you listen to Walter March, he has a lot of good things to share regarding editing, and he really know his stuff. So he's very passionate about it also. So In the Blink of an Eye is a book he has written that he talks about the 6 rules of editing, and that's a really good book. And that is more philosophical, just like we are talking about cinema in this Hokal or in You Can Achieve, or you will see in Artist's Heaven also. That is like that. But you will have a lot of Edward Dimitrick has a movie, as a book called On Editing, I think. Yeah, Edward Dimitrick had a movie, had a book on editing that's of a different flavor. So you can write your own book regarding editing. You can cover different cultures, you can learn a lot of things. But these used to be the basic books, yeah, I'm telling you. So I'm referring some books also if you want to learn editing, because editing is a big part. Editing is a big part in filmmaking, and editing can make a break or movie. It can make or break acting performances. It can make or break a movie. One actor might have given great acting performance during the entire shoot, during the rushes. If you don't know how to edit well, that won't be conveyed in the ultimate movie. I mean, people who really know it, they will get it. But ultimately, when you look at the overall cinema or overall storytelling, people will not get it. So Martin Scorsese worked with Thelma Schoonmaker. They really had a great relationship. When you look at the movies of Martin Scorsese, you will see that Thelma Schoonmaker did an incredible job, right? So that is there. And when we look at Tarantino had a good relationship with the editor, and they were innovative about it. They were taking risks regarding editing. They were taking risks regarding cinematic language. Um, so I mean, these are the things you should learn. I mean, light you should learn. It's not about the wedding photography. It's not about the model photography only. When you're understanding the visual language, then you can do so much with the camera, with the light, with the movement. So the movement has a language also. When we talk about movement as a language, we can think about dance, we can think about movement, we can think about the camera movement, how you are capturing the movement. There are so many things we can talk about. Now, being an actor is giving you a lot of opportunities also. You are playing roles which you would have never been in your life, right? You would never have been that character in your life or real life, but this particular movie is giving you that opportunity where you can portray that character. It has in you somewhere. You might find a method, you might find different processes where you can bring it, but ultimately when you're authentic to yourself, you can give a lot. People are watching different performance of yours and they are looking at your acting and they are mesmerized by it. How can this guy bring a lot of things to the acting process? How can this person make a lot of great movies one after another? If you look at Kurosawa also, Kurosawa, multiple masterpieces, not only one masterpieces, again and again. And then when he went to the Oscar stage, or when he was given an award, I think George Lucas and Spielberg were there to give him the award. So he said that he didn't know anything about movies. I mean, that is humility, utter humility, because he has inspired a lot of filmmakers, the next generation, Spielberg, uh, George Lucas, Martin Scorsese, and then generations afterwards. Unfortunately, we don't talk about all these movies now, but we should. I mean, you can learn so much. You look at Rashomon, you look at Seven Samurai, you look at Kagemusha, you look at Ran. These are great movies. Ikiru, great movies. You can learn so much. I mean, I'm just mentioning few things. High and low and all this. I'm just mentioning few things. Then Mijoguchi, Ozu. If you look at Japanese cinema, cinema from different like regions, we used to respect that culture, and we still do, because Wong is making good movies. I saw then many good movies from South Korea, many good movies from Japan, and Europe obviously is making a lot of great movies in art. But I think we can go beyond it, because in the last few years the standard has deteriorated. If you look at the movies we had, I mean, somewhere we have lost that touch, but recently I can see that it is improving, which is a good thing. And I can assure you, if you go through these discussions, if you look at these discussions, if we continue these things, then things will improve for the better, not for the worse. So this will go on because we are driven by something much more. So these things will go on, but I can tell you that things are improving. I can see that, and sometimes we need to have these things that push, or that I mean, cinema can unite us all. Music can unite us. We don't need anything else. Humanity can unite us. Cinema can unite us. I mean, music can unite us. Art can unite us. It has great power beyond politics, beyond all this, uh, any other thing. Cinema, just you love cinema and you learn so much. You can talk to people, and that's so much love. Bring people together, and we can write great stories. We can work with different people. We never thought about discrimination then why we are doing that. We are talking about discrimination, but when we see that discrimination might have affected us in a bad way, cinema might have been affected, or had been affected by this discrimination, selling of discrimination, or different definitions in a wrong way. That previously, if you see, we used to just look at movies. We had empathy, we had compassion, we had love. We used to respect different people, different cultures. We never thought that you are this, you are that, this molds and this cops. We call it cop or molds, typecasting. Only specific archetypes, few situations, few conflicts. When you talk about love, it is coming to these few archetypes or few conflicts, and you are making stuff regarding that. We didn't have that. When we enjoyed, we saw love is very vast. So we had so many movies. In each and every movie we could see love in different ways. That's the thing we can reach again. And I mean, it's just about respecting your craft, respecting your art profession. I think that respect should come from yourself. Otherwise, you can talk about a lot of things, but ultimately it won't be seen, because cinema is such a thing, such a profession where, as I always say, amalgamation of many things. Now, if you are, say, if you are betraying the script, then when the actors will perform, they will just, if they can really sort it out, then you can have a movie. Otherwise, if you are betraying the script in terms of dialogue, in terms of scenes, in terms of situation, whatever it is, then if the actors are just believing in the maybe the wrong direction, then the entire movie will get betrayed in terms of cinema, in terms of humanity, unfortunately. And then they might get some validation for some other purpose, but you will feel something inside you, right? So I have seen a lot of movies in my life. You will be talking to this, I mean, you will be saying this to yourself, that I have seen a lot of movies in my life. When you're alone, especially when you're alone, because those are the moments you should cherish when you are making great movies, especially the European movies and the I mean, any movie. Ultimately, you can have a Hollywood blockbuster also, but I mean, cinema, when you love it, you love it. When the light goes off, you go to the theater, it's something really magical. It will always be magical. Nothing can substitute that experience, right? That's why many people are in the movies, in the profession. But when you are saying that we are bringing a lot of barriers, discrimination in the making of the movie, or the process of making of the movie, then you are somehow then you are getting biased. You are filtering things out. So that's why I can tell one thing. I mean, things you can bring in the red carpet, these things you can bring in the red carpet, in the parties, um, after parties, celebration parties, I mean, interviews, TV shows, great talk shows. In every places you can bring it. But it has the cinema, it has to start with that script. So when we are writing that script, you really have to be genuine about it. Everything comes afterwards. Or that experience that experience or those experiences can inspire you to write great stuff. But when you are writing, you should be genuine about it. That experience, that emotion, those characters, then you're not compromising with the script. Then you can improvise, or you can keep it as it keep the script as it is. And I mean, you can have a great movie. So the things, again, I will end with this. I mean, I can talk about all these things a lot, but male roles especially I mentioned, and I will continue to talk about this in artists heaven. And when I bring the production part, when I bring the revenue multiples and the business part, that I will mention here. But you have to understand one thing: persuasion and manipulation, few archetypes. Now we are vulnerable to it. I mean, I am not, because I have seen both the sides, so I am not. But when you don't know the culture enough, that cultural literacy is not there. Rather, you are always trying to change, you are always trying to sell, you're always trying to persuade or manipulate, without even realizing, without even listening, without even respecting that thing, then you will be buying a lot of stuff. That person is an actor, you are buying that. That script is a good script, you are buying that. That movie is a good movie, you are buying that. What you are buying those titles, you are buying those narratives. But when you look at the movie, you know whether the movie is good or not bad. When you look at the person as a human being, or that actor, you know that that acting performance is good or bad. So that is the thing we should cultivate. When you're coming to the industry, you should cultivate that. Then the politics will be there, the games will be there, the power play will be there, the money will be coming, the money will be going, those things will be there. But you don't stop making movies, because that's we were driven by something else. We just want to tell the story, we want to make, we loved cinema. That's why we are in cinema, as a profession, as a business, as a artistic creation. We are here because we love it, as a profession, as a business, or in any way. Then we will figure out ways to make the movie. But if you miss that love, that passion, the thing which with which you started, then you will be vulnerable to a lot of different things. People will be selling a lot of stuff, but you just need to get in touch with that self, that part of yourself where you really loved movies, where you wanted to be an actor, where you wanted to be a director, where you wanted to be a producer, a musician, you wanted to be a celebrity, you wanted to be a storyteller, you wanted to be an artist. You just get in touch with that part of yourself. You don't need anyone, any external influence, any external motivation. You don't need anyone. Just get in touch with that person of yourself. Watch a lot of movies if you want to, listen to a lot of music if you want to, find out your own process, figure out your own stuff. But when you're writing, don't compromise. When you're acting, don't compromise. When you are directing, don't compromise. Process is there. When you are creating the stuff, you're not compromising. The creation, that is the particular time and space. From this beginning to the end, you're writing something. Screen time, 2 hours, 1 hour, 30 minutes, 3 hour, whatever you choose. You can make an epic like David Lean used to make. You know, looking at the script, that is also one thing I will share here, because yeah, we can talk in terms of production also. Generally, one page of a script is equivalent to 1 minute of screen time. So if you are writing 120 pages of a script, so that can be translated to 120 minutes of cinema or film. So 2 hours. You and then plus minus you can add a bit more. So that is the thing. You should understand that. So when you are writing, you're writing about the structure. You are knowing about the structure, because that's a professional thing, and that is how you pitch. That is how you communicate. Uh, the format you should learn, the basic thing. Nowadays you have a lot of opportunities where you can just write the words. The format will be taken care of, but still you should learn, because I can always tell you, still you should learn the format. But storytelling, this is where we are compromising right now. Storytelling, that's an art. I mean, you can do a lot of things, you can find out a lot of things, but that love, that human experience, that storytelling, generally this is something nobody can teach you. I mean, you learn it yourself. I mean, there will be a lot of catalysts, there will be a lot of situations where you learn that aspect of storytelling, but I think you should do it yourself. That will be, then you can guide others also in the right way. Thank you so much.